Welcome to the... All right, this is episode 2 of Accelerated Insights, and I'm joined today by the one and only Mr. Local Government Integration himself, Adam Gatt. Hey Adam, how you going?
Good, yeah, thanks for having me on, James.
We've been wanting to do this for a while, and it's been a little bit tricky aligning on calendars and schedules. But what I have been wanting to chat to you about is everything around the local government integration offerings that we provide at Accelerate Tech and how that's evolved over the years. We provide Technology One and Civica integration services between state government systems and other council systems. It's quite a complex and interesting platform that we've built. And I think it opens up a lot of opportunities for councils to take advantage of that, to connect into other systems. And I'm sure we'll get into the details, but it is very surprising sometimes to hear stories from councils around just how much manual effort goes into processing requests, whether they're from customer service or to do with field services or asset management, all areas of council. And I think we help with a lot of those scenarios, and this integration platform supports a lot of that. So yeah, what have you got for us today?
Yeah, so just to give you a bit of a background, I guess, on the role that we're playing in local gov. We're primarily known for our integration with the New South Wales Planning Portal. So for those that don't know, that's a state-based portal that all applications and documentation around any planning and building needs to be put into, and councils then need to process the applications within that system. Every council has their own property and rating system and records management system of their own, though, which they have their own workflows that they work through in. So the role that we're playing there is to integrate their PNR and EDMS with the planning portal. So as soon as an application is submitted on the planning portal, it'll automatically get created in their PNR system. Their team can continue to work through their own internal business process in their own system, and at the right trigger points, the updates and of data and documents will be sent back to the planning portal to achieve that end-to-end integration. So they can essentially keep working in their PNR system, and the application within the planning portal system will get pushed through and processed through all the stages as well. So that's our primary use of our integration platform at the moment. And the majority of our customers are using Tech One PNR or Civica Authority. So we've got some councils on Tech One CI PNR. Some are using CIA PNR, and we've got a mix as well on the authority side. So some are using like Authority Civica, and some are using the SAS Altitude product now as well. So that's on the PNR side. On the EDMS side, we've got a range of EDMS that we're working with as well. So we've got lots that are using Tech One ECM. We've got quite a few using Content Manager. We've got a handful that are using Magic Documents, and we've got some using SharePoint Online.
That's for all the planning related documents that get submitted, like building plans and architecture designs and reports and all those sorts of things.
Exactly, yeah. So one of the, we're providing an integration platform as a service, right? So our service, it's not just specific to just planning portal integration, right? It is an integration platform, and we have API capability across a range of applications. So all those ones that I mentioned there, plus there's lots of others as well. And one of the key things as well, I think, which is made the platform successful, is we've really decoupled a lot of the communication across all the transactions as well. Like as an example, what we're doing for our Planning Portal customers, it doesn't really matter what their combination of P&R system and EDMS is. We've got some councils that are Tech 1 CI and Tech 1 ECM. We've got some that are Tech 1 CI and Content Manager. We've got some that are Tech 1 CI and Magic Documents. We've got Civica customers that use Content Manager. We've got some that use SharePoint Online. The combination, it doesn't really matter. It's really agnostic, which is led to the success that we've had with it.
Yeah. And just for some broader context, this problem exists, I guess, due to centralising planning applications into the New South Wales Planning Portal. And when the Planning Portal went live, councils had to log into, I guess, their back-end login of the Planning Portal to review these applications, download information, submit RFIs, back and forth. So those used to get submitted directly to council before the Planning Portal, which obviously went straight into the system. But then creating another system where it wasn't in their control caused a bit of a problem where you'd have to have more people working on doing human APIs and pulling data and pushing data throughout the whole development application lifecycle.
Yeah, exactly. As time's gone by, we've been providing this service for our Planning Portal customers. The value that they've got out of it, the time saving, the avoiding, data entry errors and things like that. I guess it's highlighted the fact that, integration and automation has a big part to play in your business process now. And more recently, factor in now Gen AI, right? There's just a lot of opportunity now, to complement and streamline your business processes, to take the repetitive, mundane data entry, the mindless clicking out of processes now, to really free up some time for you to focus, on tasks that are going to deliver more value. As one example, something that we've been exploring recently with one of our customers, and we know it's a challenge that every local government faces anyway, is dealing with inquiries that come in via email, essentially. So every request, hey, there's a pothole here, or there's a park bench broken there, or you didn't pick my bins up, etc. They all make their way into council in whichever way the citizen wants. If it's outside of office hours, typically they come in via email. Pretty much every council we speak to, they have a team that will monitor a shared mailbox of some sort, and any of those emails that come in, someone would manually be picking that up, going into their CRM system, doing the data entry to create that CRM request, tagging it accordingly so it's in the right category, etc., and would be assigned to the correct team. They download the attachments, go and put them in, the EDMS, link them up to the request, etc. So a whole bunch of repetitive admin that takes up some valuable time, essentially. And the numbers, the minutes and hours add up pretty quickly, especially if you're a metropolitan council that has 250,000 citizens, right?
Yep. Yeah, there were some numbers that you rattled off recently for a particular council, and I think it takes about 20 minutes per request, that use case that you described before, on average, about 20 minutes. And it sounds like a fairly straightforward task. You get a request, you download some documents, you go put it in the system, but they can range in complexity and the amount of documents, and they have to be registered in records management. And if you're getting 5,000 of those, I think that was the figure, per year at 20 minutes on average per request, well, you're starting to look at almost an FTE basically in terms of time and effort. It's pretty crazy.
Exactly. Yeah. They when we first engaged, their estimate was around 5,000. They're estimating roughly 100 a week. When they actually looked into it last financial year, they had 8,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and wow. It was the 15 to 20 minutes each. Yep. On average. So yeah, I've just brought up. So I'm going to share my screen.
Yep.
What I'm going to demonstrate is essentially this very low level use case that we're working with this council to automate essentially. So they use a product called Snap Forms, which is essentially it's a form builder and you can embed it on your website, and then the public can fill in the form to report their issue. And what that does is that triggers an email to be sent to council's dedicated mailbox, and then the team are picking those up, doing the data entry. So they got 8,000 of these last year. So this particular use case, because it's using a form product, the email that is received, it's very structured, obviously, right? So it comes in a consistent way, as you can see in my example here. Has the capability to add attachments as well, but because it is very structured, you really know the kind of data that you're going to get, and the terminology that you're going to get because of that form. Really, really good example here of how we can use AI automation integration in combination to deliver time saving, right? So I'm going to send this email off with our attachment to the shared mailbox. It's in the same format that their form product.
And a lot of the products that council are using, well, some of them use their property and rating or customer service system, like that's built into Technology One or Civica or Infor, but there's a lot of councils that we come across that are leveraging third-party products like Open Forms, or there's Snap Send Solve, for example, and a lot of those aren't integrated and come through email.
Exactly. Yeah, there's lots of opportunity to do this right across that online form builder market. So we have helped another customer with an Open Forms use case as well. Open Forms has it has API capability behind it, so it is very, very reliable and robust to work with. And the time saving is there. It's clearly visible. Instead of opening an email, someone having to monitor a mailbox, open, read the email, copy paste, save. Download documents to their machine, then upload them to the EDMS, then tag them to the request. So we'll see if our request has come in. Okay, so it has. So this is Tech One CI PNR. So our customer here, they're using the CRM module within PNR. So you can see. And
you sent that to a shared mailbox.
Correct. Yeah. So they get these form submissions to a shared mailbox. So in terms of our solution, it's pretty straightforward conceptually, I guess. We have a process that is monitoring the mailbox. It's looking for new emails received that match a certain criteria. So that's capitalizing on Power Platform automation capability. As part of that workflow, we're using some Gen AI there to process, the content of the submission, and then help us essentially categorize and turn that content into a very structured request body, essentially, that we can then programmatically process. And so what we do is the automation does all that for us with AI. That processed response body or request body gets sent to our integration platform, our e-planning integration platform, and then we just we capitalize essentially on everything that we've built into our platform, which is essentially common API connectors for many software platforms, Tech1CI obviously being one of them, and we've got a really robust data transformation engine. So those are the two key things that our integration platform is doing under the hood, as well as obviously handling authentication, authorization, things like that. But at the core, we can take a message, we can run it through our data transformation engine to understand it, to analyze it, to pick out the pieces of data that are relevant, and then put it in a format that the target application will understand, right? So we've taken that that email body, and we've actually turned that into XML, which is the structure that Tech1CI understands. Mm-hmm. And it's resulted, as you can see here, in this e-request being created. So if we open it up and take a really quick look, you can see it's got most of the data that I provided in the email body, right? The address, phone number, email. It got categorized as a general inquiry. It was created today, obviously, and it's got that PDF document on the grid as well. So it's created the request after the request was created, because it was created successfully. It's brought the attachment in. It's marked it. It's linked it to this e-request, and then in the background, depending on how this council configures their attachments to work, this would automatically be pushed into ECM.
So you've taken completely unstructured text. Well, there is some structure to it, but generally unstructured, and then turn that into, behind the scenes, a structured format that has mapped it and created the record and put the right information into the correct fields. And does it do any name matching as well, or is it just...
there is some. That's why we've got a name ID here. So there is some name matching capability as well. What we typically do in the matching scenarios, particularly name matching scenarios, is we'll work out like a scoring system essentially. So as an example, find me a name that has this first name. If I find a match, first name is worth 10 points. A match on a last name is worth another 10 points. If we find a match on the email, it's worth 30, etc. So we traverse the NAR to find potential matches. They all get scoring, and then if any names match our minimum threshold, our confidence score, then we'll use the one with the highest score as the match. And if none of them match it, it depends on what council wants to do. If they want to use a dedicated default name, an anonymous name, or something like that, or they might want us to create a new name and use that one. It really depends. But yes, we are doing that in this example. We do it in a couple of our other integrations as well.
So that's taking that name matching algorithm that you built a little while back. It's being reused in this example here.
Yeah. So the approach is the same. This is different technology. Under the hood, it's working a bit differently, but that same approach has been taken. And again, that's the beauty of our integration platform, right? It's agnostic. So we're undertaking the same process, really in the background at the lower level. It's just different requests being sent back and forth, and our transformation engine is handling that transformation. So
that's awesome. I didn't even know you were using that for this example. So that's really good to hear.
Yeah.
Okay, so request is now added, and then what happens from here?
Yeah, so So this will appear on, I'm not sure on this, on the specifics of how to access it, but essentially, so the team that's responsible for triaging this will now appear on a dashboard somewhere as a task that needs to be actioned, so it's centralized. They'll come in and do the triaging here, so they can, approve it or reject it, essentially. And then as they work through this workflow, it will then reassign it to the relevant team that's actually, responsible for undertaking the action, essentially. So, if this was a pothole one, this would run through that process, which would end up putting it on, the dashboard of the field staff team, the depot team, and then they do whatever they do to actually get it out on a field worker's, device or, so it's just taking out that automated, repetitive, menial and boring task for somebody that's doing the copy pasting. And so we've only targeted in this example, right? We've only targeted that snap form. Obviously, they have many more sources of requests coming in via email as well.
So they can, you can tackle different formats, I guess, different entry points of those requests to still have it centralized into this one format.
Exactly, yeah. So, you can have many sources all coming into this solution and landing in this one bucket that the team is actually working out of. And, that's the beauty of the Power Platform and, what Gen AI has really given us to work with, right? So that's one of the key things. Yeah, well, and to be honest, we're only really using a really simple use case here, right? Let's say if this council in their system had the ability to capture sentiment, capture priority, criticality, things like that, right? Gen AI can definitely play a role there to do the sentiment analysis, right? To keep track of customer satisfaction, to work out priority. To mark things as critical if, it identifies a safety issue or something like that. So, it's only really the tip of the iceberg what we're doing here.
Well, I think this is one of the most realistic and achievable use cases for this sort of thing. It's 80% automation with a little bit of artificial intelligence doing reasoning and sending a format of data to an LLM and then getting it back in a structured format, and it's being told how to do that. Not, go and use Copilot or go and use a chatbot. This is, I think, one of the best use cases for this technology, at least where we are at the moment. There's a high degree of, you can measure it, you understand how long it's taking at the moment. Obviously, with that whole step, that 20 minutes it's taking someone, that's very measurable if that goes away. There's a good audit trail behind it, security. Yeah, I think there's so much low-hanging fruit like this where AI, but again, it's framed up as AI, like you said before, but really it's automation with AI working together and integration as well.
Yeah, and I think that's in combination is where you really you get the strength out of those offerings. And the value being delivered as well. And there's a lot of different attitudes towards dipping the toe in the AI pool. I think this is a very good first use case. It's a very simple use case. It's going to deliver value that you can measure easily. And it just opens the door, right? And then if you see the value, you build on it from here. You don't have to, go big bang with your first venture into AI. Very good first use case.
Yeah, and this model can, I think, speaking about this in the beginning of the call, it can be repeated and used in many different scenarios. This is one example where a common example where requests come into a council. but yeah, there's a lot of applicability to other areas.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, correct me if I'm wrong, it's leveraging Power Platform for
Correct.
in its entirety, right?
Correct. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So the automation and AI piece is a very very simple Power Platform
Yep.
solution that we've put together. And yeah, at the tail end of that solution, it's sending so using Power Automate, it's sending a HTTP request to our integration platform essentially, and then the heavy lifting of the data transformation and the API call being made to Tech One is done there. So yeah, we've got, and that's the beauty of it as well. Like, we've got that decoupling, right? So, we've already done that data transformation and data mapping, etc., in our integration platform. So yeah, if another service does come along, another source, of requests, we've already got that half. We've got the connection to the CRM already done in our platform. So we won't be doing another end-to-end. Essentially, if another service came along that this wanted to be set up for, we're only going to be doing half of the work.
Yeah, I think that's an important point to call out. If you're a council watching this and you wanted to do this all on Power Platform, well, you're going to need to do that data transformation and mapping to get it in. Well, once it's in XML, how do we get that back into Tech One? That part isn't so easy, which is something that we've mastered over the last few years with the integration platform.
Yeah. So if you are a Tech One user, a technical user, you'll know that CI, whilst is a very great back office product in terms of integration capability, it isn't the easiest product to work with. But yeah, we've made do with what is available, which maybe it's a good time to maybe segue into talking about CIA instead of CI. So I'll just jump over to a CIA environment. So this is also CRM requests, but in CIA. So we've also done some work on CRM requests here as well. A bit more detailed use case though, which I'll jump into. So if you're not familiar, there is a Tech One public-facing portal that your citizens can interact with to transact with council, to raise CRM requests, maybe to make some payments, or depending which state you're in, maybe create applications, etc. Right? So our use case here, I'll just jump over, is that we were engaged to do a proof of concept of building a more user-friendly, mobile-first portal for the public to interact with, to raise requests and make payments, etc., rather than using the standard Tech One offering. So this is that portal. It's Power Pages based, again, Power Platform solution. So I will just quickly log in to an account I previously registered. So one other key piece of this solution as well was achieving single sign-on. So this council, like I'm sure every other council, they use a multitude of systems to provide services to their community. So there'll be one website to log into for the library, another one to log into for CRM requests, one to maybe manage your bin services, another one to pay your rates. There's a big plethora of them, and usually they've all got their own credentials. So you have to register again and again. You've got to register for all of them. They've all got different usernames and passwords, etc. So single sign-on was a key piece here as well. And this is actually Azure. We used Azure B2C as the identity provider here. So I'm going to log into my pre-registered account here. And one key thing to note with this is that Tech1 CIA is, it is that back-end system, right? It is the source of truth for requests for payments, etc. So a really important part of us to be able to deliver single sign-on for Tech1 was to do essentially name matching. So we kind of spoke about it before, but essentially we've taken, that the data that the user has entered at registration, we're comparing that with the NAR that is in Tech1 CIA, trying to work out if we've found the individual, if we've met that confidence score. We are earmarking this person as that name in Tech1, so then that way it automatically inherits all of those associations, right? So because we've linked it to the correct name, it knows these are the properties that they own, these are the previous CRM requests that they've made, these are the applications they've made, etc. So there's a very, very key point to note here. And the point here as well is that the way that we designed, so we're using API connectors to achieve that with B2C, and the key point here is that the idea is that each of your services that require authentication, they can all be onboarded into B2C to achieve SSO over time, right? So against this identity in B2C, which is our identity provider, we've got an attribute there to identify that, hey, they are this identifier in Tech1. So over time, let's say that we want to onboard your library system to use SSO. As part of that login/registration process, the first time that your user accesses the library system, we'd undertake that same kind of workflow that we did for the name identification, right? We'd undertake a process to try and find them in the library system, find their membership number. So you've got their history, etc. And then that would just be another attribute against their source of truth identity profile. And so you build that up over time to achieve, your one identity, one login. So one thing I want to do is I'm going to raise a request to show it coming across into CIA really quickly. What we've done with this solution is we've added a bit of personalization as well. So when I registered this profile earlier, you can see I've got a report a pothole existing request. So I created that earlier today. And so if we go to the services page, you can see that report a pothole is, it's above the fold, right? We wanted to do that so in case, you're the type of user that only comes in once every so often to report your bins missed. You're not going to have to go through the catalog here of request types, right? It's going to be above the fold for you to access quickly, which is why that's there. So this time I'll report a misbin. So we've created our, begin creating our misbin case. I'm going to stop there though, and I'm going to go back to the home screen to see my request history. We can see it now in draft, which is nice. And if we did go back to the services page, report a misbin is now also above the fold as a pinned request type, which is very, very user friendly and handy. So I go back to my draft, and I will continue reporting that my bin is missed. So I'm just going to zoom into the LGA here somewhere. I'm going to drop a pin on the map. What's happening here is using our integration platform, we've made a call to CIA to see if the address that we dropped the pin on the map is a rateable property within the LGA, which it is. That's why we've got our suggestion here. And we do that to first make sure that it's a valid address for this request type, but also if we go to the next page, we've added some smarts in here to query again, the CRM about the collection dates as well. And which bin services this property actually has. So this property has all 3 colored bins. And you can see the red bin was collected 5 days ago. It's not going to be collected for another 9 days, etc. Because a recurring theme for this customer was that they'd report the bin missing and it was scheduled to be picked up tomorrow anyway as part of the normal routine. So, it really didn't require an additional work order to go and pick it up because it was going to get picked up the next day anyway.
Is this information where it's reading from stored against each property to say when their bins were collected, or does it look up just a general schedule based on the address of when bins get collected in that area?
Yeah, no, it's not referring to a general schedule, like, this postcode is Wednesdays. No, it's against the property. So it's within Tech 1, it uses something called themes. But yeah, it is a direct, request for every property.
Okay. So every property has that history trail in there around when the bins were collected as part of the weekly schedule. And any ad hoc ones,
Exactly. Yeah. So I've just submitted that. So we'll give that some time to make its way into Tech 1. But what I wanted to show was the single sign-on element. So I'm just going to open a new tab here, and I'm going to go to, so I'll paste the URL so we can see it. So I'm going to go now to that Tech 1 provided portal for interacting with council. So you can see that's clearly it's a Tech 1 cloud URL. It is the Tech 1 product. So I'm going to go to that now. I'm already logged in, right? So you can see that the tab here says log on SAML CIA. So SSO's kicked in. You can see now we've been redirected to an Azure B2C URL because it's identified that we're already logged in to our identity, right, in our Power Pages portal. So SSO's kicked in. It's identified who we are. Yep, you've correctly authenticated already, etc. And we're now logged in, right? And we're logged into that same account. And so you can see here that my pothole request that I created earlier today is there. Plus we've now got our miss bin one as well that we just created. So our 2 requests are there. And if I jump over to CIA itself and I reload
just before you go into that, I know that looks like a very simple thing that you've shown, but just to understate the level of development that went into that to make that happen, and the single sign-on component was significant to get that working as smooth as it looks on the screen. So, you and the team did a phenomenal job on that, and we've had multiple councils reach out to us just purely for single sign-on. Their portals and things. I think they're okay with what they've got, and you're never going to get one portal that kind of rules them all with this, the best of breed system. Like a lot of councils go best of breed, which is great. But having to remember multiple logins for different services for a citizen is really, really annoying.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's not a great experience. But yeah, so our request is in here. You can see it was raised by me. There was the address that we picked on the map. There's our external reference number, C2354. There it is there. So it's been linked. So now, it's linked in both systems. So any actions taken on the Tech 1 side will filter back through here and close or update this case, and vice versa. So you can see now on my home screen, we've got our request ID there. It's marked in progress. I'm going to cancel it. So the citizen has now cancelled it. In a minute or so, this will flow back through. So we've got that bi-directional capability. And again, decoupled part of our integration platform. So if you have another portal that requests can be created in, or another source, right, like email as an example. If the first solution, right, we could very quickly and easily take that first solution. It'll get sent to our integration platform, and we've already got this second half to get it into CI already built. So it would be, capitalizing on that work.
And as it's in Microsoft Power Pages, it goes into Dataverse first, and then there's a step that then calls the APIs as soon as those records get submitted, and then goes into the integration platform, but it's not. It's using Dataverse out of the necessity of it being in the Power Platform, and no more than that. So the council users don't need to use Dataverse or a model-driven app or the like.
Correct, exactly.
They work straight out of here. It's just there for the purposes of having the data in Power Pages.
Exactly, yeah, just to facilitate the exchange, really. So you can see now this is marked as cancelled. Request has been cancelled by the customer.
And that's real time. There's no daily sync. There's no ETL or data load or anything like that. It's real time API integration. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so that's probably. I did. Yeah, and this will, pretty sure if I reloaded this will now be marked as cancelled. Which it is. So there you go.
Very nice.
Yeah, so. I wish I had something to show on. Believe it or not, I had another automation solution lined up to demonstrate, but that council has IP restrictions on accessing the environment, and believe it or not, my home IP changed this morning, so I can't get in to demonstrate that. So I might just talk through it, and I can probably show actually I can show the end result. It's a planning portal based. Problem. So if you're familiar with the planning portal, you know that within the last few months they've released. There's been some legislative changes around critical stage inspections. And so what we did for our customer, I'm very impressed with the automation that we've been able to do here. They have an existing process where their inspectors use an app. It's called the Authority Actus app to do their inspections. So when an inspection is booked, the admin team will add an inspection to the inspector's task list, essentially, and then they work through their list on the app. So they've got an existing business process that they follow. And we wanted to minimize or remove essentially any additional work needing to be undertaken just to be able to send that critical stage inspection back to the planning portal. And we were able to do that using our integration platform. So if the related cases, there should be inspections in here because I ran through this yesterday. Critical stage inspections. Let me bring this one up. So essentially the business process is that the inspector has their app. They go and do their inspection. In their app, they essentially mark if the inspection is satisfactory or unsatisfactory, or it's conditionally satisfactory pending XYZ, and they'll come back and check it again, essentially. So what we've done there is, at the point of the inspector marking that inspection as done, we use that as a trigger point to then interrogate the application and interrogate all that data on that checklist that the certifier filled in. We will then automatically, using our integration platform, we'll add a new task to that application in Authority, and the task we create will depend on the type of inspection when that was carried out, right? So in this case, when I did this yesterday, I performed a footings inspection. So we will now create an additional task on the Authority application to show, hey, a footings inspection was undertaken. Here's the result. Here's the BDC number of the inspector that did it. And we then pick that up as a trigger point to send that data to the planning portal, which is what we see here. And then we then grab this inspection ID, and we then put that back against that footings inspection task in Authority as well. So over time, as you know, the CC or the CDC is worked through, you know, we're going to have our big list of tasks there in the task view to show, hey, the footings was done on this date, it was satisfactory, here's the planning portal inspection ID, the slab one was done here, the frame one was done there, etc. So really, yeah, really good use case for automation. And yeah, you know, we're able to just tack that on to the end of the business. The inspectors don't even know that you know, anything has changed, essentially. And this has replaced, so this customer was manually generating all of these, you know, dumping data into Excel and whatnot, and then sending that data to ABS, I think, where it needed to be reported before. So again, we've taken that, you know, big manual once a month process that someone's doing, and yeah, we've slotted it into the existing business process that the inspectors take.
That's very good. Yeah, there's a lot of these just little niggly, just guck processes that hang off these things that yeah, people are doing and not letting them actually free up time and focus on working on the actual task.
Yeah.
All the crap that hangs off around it just to get it to where it needs to go.
Exactly. Yeah. So
awesome.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's all, you know, at the heart of it, it's Microsoft's core, its core, you know, offering, right? In Azure, you know, we've got our integration as a service resources there that we're fully capitalizing on. And on the business application side, you know, there's the Power Platform as well. So they both work together, you know, seamlessly, and they can, you know, power real value, you know, such as these examples. Yeah, and you know, the sky's the limit essentially, especially if you know, if your platform has web service capability. Yeah, the sky really is the limit. Even so, you know, probably one last thing I'll show. I wasn't necessarily planning on showing it, but I will. Saying that, you know, if your platform has web services, even if they don't, you know, if there's a will, there's a way sometimes. So what I'm going to show you is this is another solution that we worked with a couple of our VIP customers on. So this is it's a DA tracker. Well, it's not just a DA tracker, it's an application tracker. Most councils call it DA tracker. We're showing DAs and CDCs here for this customer. But essentially, they're using Technology One CI P&R. It unfortunately does not have, you know, a very nice complement of web services. Getting data in and out of it can be quite a challenge. But when you've got the council know-how and initiative, you know, we've got some very experienced and talented ex-council staff on our team, and yeah, they find ways to unlock the potential of platforms, and that's what we've done here. So what we're doing in this solution, this is Power Pages again. We're grabbing planning application data directly from Tech One CNI. We're bringing it through, and we're using our integration platform to do that. Our integration platform is bringing the data into Dataverse. And our solution here is, as you can see, you know, it's presenting the data in multiple ways. Here's the map, here's a list, here's a card view, to present, you know, the information to the individual to review. And also as part of this, I don't know if this application will have documents. There are some. So we've also, you know, again, we've decoupled, you know, the ERP and the EDMS as well, which is, you know, because we do have those different combinations, right? So this customer is using Tech One CI for PNR and they're using ECM. We have we've got two different workloads, two different streams that are handling the documents and the data exchange. So if they did wake up one day and say, hey, we're going to content manager, no issue, essentially. It's a separate, isolated stream. So these are documents in ECM. So it's downloaded a PDF. And the key thing here as well is that this is referencing the document in place as well. So, we're not re-downloading every single PDF and storing it in Dataverse. It's referenced. Source of truth is ECM. It's referenced directly from there. Authentication, authorization, etc. all handled. Council has full control on which documents are made visible using content indexes and classifications. Very, very, very structured, resilient, reliable. You know that if any version control on an individual document is made within ECM, it is instantly made available here because it's referenced in place. So any redaction, any changes like that.
That's an important one.
So under the hood, there aren't really on the Tech 1 CI side, there's only a minimal footprint. We're using stored scripts, some descriptors, we're capitalizing on the DP, so we can schedule the data to update as frequently as our customer would like. Some want it updated every 5 minutes, some once an hour, some overnight. It really is a beautiful solution under the hood.
There's a lot of councils still doing this manually, as in uploading documents, which is crazy, I think, and very time consuming. But this solves that and other things as well. And this is built on Power Pages. Can't really even tell it's built on Power Pages. It's got a custom domain name. It's fully branded and skinned to their style guides. UI looks clean. Google Maps integration, ability to you can follow it and make submissions which go into a central location. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, this is what I wanted to quickly add on. So this particular application is on exhibition, which means it's open for the public to comment on it or make a submission. So we've got our form here, and again, this is the beauty of our underlying integration platform. We can do with this form whatever it is that you want. So if you want the form submission here to simply email somebody with the data, we can. If you want it to create a CRM task, we can. If you want to attach it as a memo against the application in PNR, we can. That is the beauty of our integration platform. We've got all the existing connections, connectors, data transformation. We've done a lot of the heavy lifting already. It's a matter of just plugging things in.
Yeah, I was going to say it's almost plug and play with a bit of configuration.
Yeah,
which is how it should be. All right, that is awesome. Thank you very much, Adam. I think we'll leave it there. And if any of this interests you, you want further information, you can reach out via our website, acceleratetech.au, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Thanks, James.
Thank you.
See you later.
Bye-bye.